I just made $302,000 in 14 days on XRP, all thanks to one setup that I call the alignment strategy. Bitcoin was in a force pattern, while XRP was simultaneously in what I call a survival pattern. That, my friends, is when the stars were aligned. And if you know how to spot it, you can catch explosive trades in short sprints just like this one. But this trade didn't just start 2 weeks ago. It started nearly 20 years ago when I began trading back in 2005 as a broke college kid. I literally sold my car to fund my first trading account. And of course, I literally lost it all within 6 months. Then I worked shitty summer jobs just to reload, failure after failure after failure, until finally I got it. And by 2017, I had a pretty solid trading career and built hundreds of thousands of followers and YouTube subscribers online. But at this point, I was a little burnt out in the US and decided, you know what? What if I started traveling the world and trading full time? Because I had traveled a bunch and traded, and it was great. But what no one told me was that being stuck to New York hours while bouncing around the world's different time zones for years is a very fast track to burnout. No sleep, crushing fatigue, depression, and eventually I couldn't take it anymore. I didn't want to go back to the US, I just quit. And for 2 years, I didn't make a single trade. I literally thought I was done for good. I told myself, that's it, it's over. But then one day, a friend of mine DM'd me. He said, Cam, I was like, what's up? Buy XRP. And at first I was like, what the fuck is XRP? But then this led me down the rabbit hole of 24/7, 365 trading by way of crypto. I decided to take a shot. Threw 20K into the market just to see if I still had that fire. And that first trade that I made on XRP and a few others quickly turned into $80,000. Then over the next 420 days, I turned that 20K into $1.7 million that I tracked and displayed on one of my older YouTube videos. XRP literally brought me back to life. And now in 2025, it's done it again. This latest alignment setup was absolutely textbook. BTC broke out, XRP followed, I caught the move, $302,000 in just 14 days. My single biggest trade ever, all while golfing in Japan. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how it happened, the patterns, the psychology, and how to catch high probability setups before the crowd even knows what's coming. So let's get it. All right, guys, let's get right into it. I'm on a little bit of vacation again here in Phuket, just seeing if I want to live out here instead of Bali. But let's just talk about trading crypto and how this all happened. So what we're looking at right here is the market cycle for crypto. And I quit day trading many years ago. It's a fucking grind. It's a burnout, especially if you're trying to travel and trade. If you like living in the US, of which many people do, if you want to wake up at 6:30 a.m. West Coast or 9 a.m. and do that every day, you can. But what I discovered was a way to trade just 1 day per week, where all we're literally doing is setting traps in the market. We're identifying patterns inside this cycle, the 9-cycle framework of crypto. And when we know where we are in the framework of this actual cycle, which I'll discuss and explain, we can set traps where every Sunday or every Monday, I look at the market and look what other conditions there are, what other setups and other coins there are. And I find a way to put my entries in a place where I know a lot of people are typically going to get stopped out, or I know that a big move is potentially coming because it's in this framework and it's in what I call alignment. And that's what we're going to talk about here. So first and foremost, where was Bitcoin in the market cycle? Bitcoin was right here in what we call a force pattern. It's typically a move after a long-term descending trend, which then goes into the revival, then the survival, and then eventually the force pattern. And you have to understand that the force pattern is the final boss of bull markets before we eventually go back into a bear market. Now, Bitcoin was in a force pattern, and we can see that by looking at Bitcoin over here, right? Bitcoin had already gone through its revival. Then this was a survival phase here. And then eventually came into what we call the force pattern, which you can see clearly happened here in the market cycle. This becomes very clear once you understand this, how to trade crypto when you understand this exact framework, which I teach in my more in-depth mentorship. But we can see that when price was here, Bitcoin was getting ready to break out of this force pattern, and we could anticipate that if Bitcoin did break out of this pattern to the upside, we would see a big move in a lot of different altcoins. And if we look at the exact same day for XRP, this was what we call a survival, where we saw the initial run up and then this exact pattern here, which eventually broke horizontally here at about 250. And then we could anticipate that it's probably going to break this level here and probably pumped to about $4, which it came slightly up into that range because shortly. But what we have to understand is that they were in alignment. They were both on the brink of breaking at the same time. Where most people screw up is they don't trade things that are in alignment. For the most part, in altcoins have been lagging so much lately. And what happens is Bitcoin will go on a run, it'll pump, or Ethereum, and all of a sudden the move started here. And now Bitcoin's up here. And then people are looking at altcoins now that are just now maybe breaking out or just now getting ready to break out, like maybe here in a pattern, like, oh man, things are coming. The problem is the move already happened. Bitcoin and Ethereum have already gone on their run and things are coming to an end. Every run comes to an end before there's some sort of pullback, whether it's just a short-term pullback or it's the beginning of a longer-term pullback of a bear market cycle. When you have things in alignment where both assets are here, eventually getting ready to break out, that's when you have alignment. And that's when you can go balls deep on whatever your favorite altcoin is, because now it'll ride the wave of Bitcoin or Ethereum because they are both in alignment and both getting ready to explode at the same time. Problem is, altcoins typically lag so much these days that Bitcoin and Ethereum will go on a major run. They're now at some previous resistance or some new ATH, and your favorite altcoin is down here. You're like, oh, we're just getting ready to go here. But Bitcoin's just getting ready to fucking dump in your face. And then altcoins get absolutely crushed. That's why we've seen such a lag of performance in altcoins, because Bitcoin and Ethereum have been going on runs. Bitcoin's the only actual performing asset over the last year and a half. A lot of altcoins are still down like 60, 70, 80% off ATH. Some are getting a little bit closer now. XRP just recently tapped into ATH, but there's a lot of lag. So when you don't have this alignment, things just simply don't work. And you also have to understand, where is that altcoin in its cycle? XRP was in this formation, the survival. Revival already happened, and then we're getting ready for the ATH break, and then maybe a retest of ATH, and then maybe we'll get a force pattern. So if you look at XRP now, look what happened here, okay? XRP, one, broke the survival here, right about 265. We started adding in and accumulating down here in the 220s, and I continually started to add up. My average price was about 260, but you can see as soon as that broke out, this went on a 2-week run to then just barely break over this, and I was holding up here. I was hoping for a bullish flag and a continuation upwards of 4. Eventually, this broke down that level. We did not get it, and I eventually sold, I think, at about 347. And we can actually show you inside of my account right now. All right, guys, we're on my iPhone here. You can open up Phemex. So here is inside of my Phemex account. And at this point, there's several trades that we had in alignment. We got Tau, BDXN, $15,000 on Tau, $23,000 on Ondo. XRP was $307,000 profit. GOAT lost $10,000 on. So total profit was $307,242. My exchange fee was almost $1,300. The funding fee was almost $3,200. Average opening price $265. Closing price was $347. So you can see total, once I open this up, 336%. Switch to P&L, $302,000, $726 after the exchange fees. Open price, average entry price, $265 because I scaled into it as we got closer to the breakout. Exit price, $347. So another thing to note is that this is from an actual exchange. Phemex is what I trade on currently. When you're looking at a lot of these guys who are trading on, sharing screenshots of MT5, they're trading on things like liquid markets or Hero FX. I see a lot of these traders that are all the guys that just bought supercars recently. They're all promoting these brokers that are actually fake brokers. They're B-book brokers that are not actual fucking live trades, guys. It's B-book, manipulated trades. They're not even actually trading live. They're paper trading everything. I've been doing this for 20 years. These guys are 23 years old, okay? So you need to understand that those markets aren't real. They're not on centralized exchanges. They're not actual transactions. They're on fake B-booked trades. A B-book means when all these brokers, liquid markets, Hero FX, they take incoming deposits on that broker. They don't take those trades live. They just take that as revenue. They know there's a 98% chance that you're going to fail, so they don't even take your trades live. How do I know this? Because I used to be part of one. And I made $200,000 trading that broker. And I was like, hey, guys, can I get my withdrawal out? But I was also a partner marketing this firm. And then they're like, oh, well, dude, there's no money. We don't have any money for that. And so they couldn't even pay me. I was like, so then that's what I understood what an offshore B-book broker was, that there's no money to be paid out because no one's making any fucking money. If you see them requesting withdrawals, they own the broker or part owner and they're manipulating all that, and it's all fucking bullshit. I really want to expose everybody on this. I just don't know if I want to be the guy to do it. Maybe CoffeeZilla should actually fucking investigate what's really going on. But it pisses me off because they're not trading real money and not on real exchanges. So Phemex is a real exchange. A lot of my past performance history has all been on Bybit, which is public CEOs, all these HeroFX, liquid markets, all that shit. It's all anonymous because it's all bullshit and fake. Okay. So that's just a little rant that I had to go on. But looking at here on XRP, this was an alignment because at the same time, the reason why all these trades worked out so well is because Bitcoin broke out right here. And that was in a force pattern, breaking out. So when we know that Bitcoin's about to go on this fucking mega pump, we know that a lot of the other coins, if they're in a good strategy, in a good setup, like we had a survival here on XRP, we know that we can really go balls deep. And that led to this big run. And then I sold as soon as that bull flag eventually broke. So two things. You need to understand where we are in the framework so you understand what pattern to trade. And also you need to understand that after Bitcoin breaks, every coin that you're buying on the way up, you're getting ready to get fucking dumped on. Okay? That's where everyone loses money. All the cheap start buying and FOMOing in up here after the move has already happened. What you need to be doing is setting traps or anticipating as things are coiling up in this zone here. That's when you need to be accumulating your positions or scaling into it as it's getting ready to break over something, okay? Most people wait and they're like fucking buying up here. A lot of people are always like, in my trading groups, like we get into our positions here and then we're swinging, taking a part in a swing trade as things go up. And then like, we're up here on Bitcoin now. They're like, dude, there's all these fucking things moving. Why aren't we fucking doing anything? It's because the move has already happened. The RR, the risk reward, is no longer there and things are getting ready to dump eventually. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. And that's exactly what we saw here on Bitcoin. What did Bitcoin do? It had its quick pump, quick dump, quick pump, quick dump, and now it's all the way back down here. And a lot of altcoins didn't do fuck all after that, right? XRP is doing okay. We're actually long again at the moment, waiting for another secondary pump because this might be an actual force pattern, right? XRP is now on a force pattern for a longer term breakout. And if we look at where Ethereum is right now, what is Ethereum doing? If we look at like the monthly chart for Ethereum or weekly, ETH1 just broke out this long-term point right here. And it's consolidating just below the all-time high. So now we have mega support right here, right? Somewhere in this range. If we bull flag here and then break ATH, that is a force pattern on Ethereum. If we look at what BTC is doing as of right now, as far as alignment goes, BTC is also retesting breakout support. So this is a good area to be buying the dip as it's in alignment with potentially buying the dip for the next run. So now you want to look at, okay, are there other altcoins out there that are in alignment to be buying the dip? If Bitcoin does actually bounce here, that would be good. But to be buying in altcoins that are just looking like they're about to break out, as Bitcoin has already made its run, you're asking yourself for trouble because that's no longer in alignment. Bitcoin has already made its move. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if it's going to continue to go up. We don't know if it's going to come down and dump and retest this zone. We don't even know if it's going to bounce at this level. But all we can do is try to find alignment the best that we can so that we're not buying into, like we illustrated here, buying into a parabolic move on the leading asset like Bitcoin and Ethereum while your asset is just getting ready to break out a resistance level or just broke, but it's been lagging so far behind. If your coin didn't do this, but Bitcoin had already done it, you're asking for trouble, okay? So that's basically what the alignment strategy is one, understanding the framework of the crypto market cycle, understanding where the leading assets are in that market cycle, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then trying to find alignment for your altcoin that you're trying to trade. And is it in alignment to potentially go on an explosive move along with Bitcoin or Ethereum? Because if Bitcoin and Ethereum already made their moves and your coin didn't do fuck all, the higher you are in that pattern of Bitcoin and Ethereum, the higher risk that trade is becoming, and you're about to get fucking rained on, right? Dumped on your face, no fun. That's how everybody loses money, okay? So after Bitcoin and Ethereum go on those pumps, cash out like I did on XRP. Now we're maybe getting another trade going on right here for maybe about 100K. I'm not as balls deep as the last trade. But anyways, guys, that is a wrap for today's video. If you want to know more, I do have my full Quantum Cipher mentorship course, brand new course. We meet twice a month with the entire group and go over everything. And also I have the Quantum Cipher report where I give you all the top trades every single Monday in crypto, forex, and futures that I'm actually participating in myself or getting prepared. A lot of times my trades, I give you weeks in advance. I say, hey guys, if price comes into this zone, into this trap area, I will be entering. There's some trades like that if things happen quick and things change rapidly, but for the most part, the Quantum Cipher prepares you a week or two in advance for the actual trade before it goes live. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to know more, definitely click the link below. And if you want to trade on Phemex, there's a link for that also. And we also just launched instant crypto funding. You can get access to 100K in crypto to trade instantly. Skip the challenge. No more challenges at Hydra funding. If you don't want, you can get instant funding there right now. Anyways, guys, that's a wrap. Catch you the next one. Peace.